We were just talking about that running back room. I mean, think about Zeke Elliott. He's obviously been around forever. But Tony Pollard and the way that he performed tonight, what do we need to know about Tony Pollard, being inside that locker room with him?
Just know TP can break it from anywhere if you haven't noticed already. Man, I don't even know. I just told them guys today, like, I appreciate y'all boys. Like, y'all take so much stress off of us as receivers and understanding y'all gonna get the ball just about 30 times a game, and everyone understands that. And just for them, him and TP, Zeke and TP, that is, just to contribute and consistently on a weekly basis, just tote the rock. It's crazy, like.
Yeah. How close are they, those two?
Oh, they real close, bro. You can't catch them up once. You know what I'm saying?
CeeDee Lamb on Sunday Night Football Final. You can watch that, the entire show, on Peacock until 7 p.m. Eastern. That was after the Cowboys completely destroyed the Colts. And it went from 21-19, and maybe we got something here, to 54-19. And Jason Garrett, the former Cowboys coach, who is now part of Football Night in America, said Cowboys by 40 last night. He called his shot, and he almost was right. After we spent 45 minutes of the game thinking there's no way they're going to win by 40, they won by 35. I've never seen anything like it, where it just would not stop. And, it's just kind of one of those fluke things that happens. But it had to be tough to be a Colts fan, from going toe-to-toe with the Cowboys and maybe finding a way in prime time to steal a victory, and would have been the signature win for Jeff Saturday, and just a big one of those you can puff your chest out for a month after that. It all just fell apart. Unbelievable. Final score 54-19. Scoregami, by the way, Mike Tirico mentioned that in the post-game show. Mm-hmm. Never happened before, and hopefully in a primetime game it'll never happen again.
Mike, the closest thing I feel like I ever saw to something like that, where it's 33 points in a quarter, was a junior in college, and Columbia went up to Cambridge and played Harvard, and they lost 69-0, and Harvard scored 28 points in the second quarter. And other than that, I've never seen anything like that, where you have 33 points in a single quarter, especially because the game was close. The Cowboys, as I kind of felt like they were kind of playing with their food a little bit, or you're just kind of, putting the fork around the plate, and you're doing this and you're doing that. Like, just eat it. It's, just do what you need to do and take care of business. And eventually they did that. And the Cowboys look like one of the best teams in football right now. And when you are one of the best teams in football, that's what you're supposed to do to a team that has already fired its coach.
You weren't alive at the time, but I would like to think you would at least have some familiarity with one of the past Super Bowls in which there was a ridiculous second quarter explosion. Do you know what I'm talking about? Super Bowl 22. Broncos up 10-0 after one. Washington scored 35 in the second quarter. So I know you didn't personally witness it, but
that's what I'm saying. I didn't see that one. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
So it didn't happen. You weren't alive. You weren't alive, so it didn't happen. That's what I figured out. Anything, yeah. But you know what? I was the same way.
I just remember Kyle Juszczyk, just running all over Columbia. Now he does the same thing to everybody in the NFL with San Fran.
Look, it just shows you how good the Cowboys can be. And
right.
Not every team fires on all cylinders all the time. And for most of the game, the Cowboys didn't. The Cowboys, as you said, were playing with their food. They were. And then they stopped, and it was time to eat. And it became laughable and pathetic, depending upon what your perspective is. But my God. And it wasn't like it was a horrible game. I remember there was a Saints-Colts game the year that Peyton Manning was injured, 2011, and it was some ridiculous final score, 62-10, something like that, and it was just horrible start to finish. This wasn't horrible start to finish. It was just one of the most memorable or forgettable, depending upon your perspectives, fourth quarters we've ever seen.
Yeah, it was. And look, I mean, it tells you what happens when the Cowboys get ahead and they can unleash those pass rushers and they can just pin their ears back. I mean, they made Matt Ryan look horrible. Okay. I mean, I don't know what the Colts are going to do at quarterback. I guess Matt Ryan still gives them the best chance to win, but oh my goodness. Like, I don't know what you do there. I mean, is Nick Foles a better shot? I mean, shouldn't he get an opportunity at some point? because it's not working with Matt Ryan, despite the fact that, the locker room believes in him and it's this and it's that. It didn't work with Sam Ehlinger either. So I don't really know what you do here anymore, but it's hard to watch Matt Ryan try to function as an NFL quarterback here in the year 2022. It's just, he's not good enough to help you win. And I don't think he's the only problem, but he's also not a solution. So, the Colts have got more games that we're going to have to watch because they're standalone. So maybe we'll see Matt Ryan, but I kind of hope that we won't.
I've got one specific question. I'd like to know whose cornflakes Nick Foles pissed in.
Right?
To not even be mentioned and to still be on the roster. It almost reminds me of when Al Davis decided that he was just going to put Marcus Allen on ice. I'm not going to play you, but I'm not going to let you go. You just go sit down and you watch. Like, who did Nick Foles piss off that he's never even mentioned as a possibility? The guy was a Super Bowl MVP, for crying out loud. And I understand that it's this weird set of circumstances, and I still think it was a Slumdog Millionaire situation for him in 2017 where it just kept flipping his way. He just kept getting lucky. But still, at some point, when Matt Ryan is getting he took some hits last night. How does he get up from them? Because he is skinny as NFL quarterbacks go. And he is old as NFL quarterbacks go. And I admire the guy's ability to push himself off the mat and keep going. But the interceptions, the fumbles, it's just a mess. And we know Ehlinger can't do it. We know Matt Ryan is better than him. But we don't know anything about Nick Foles, and I'd love to know why. Like, it never gets mentioned. It never gets addressed. The question never even gets raised. Why isn't Nick Foles at least in the conversation to come in and try to turn something around for the Indianapolis Colts, Myles?
Well, I don't know. Jeff Saturday was talking about it after the game, and he said that, you're a quarterback and you dig yourself into a hole, you want to get yourself out of it. But Nick Foles was the number 2 quarterback in last night's game against the Cowboys. So it's not like it's not something that Jeff Saturday's thought about where Nick Foles, if Matt Ryan has to go out, then that's the backup. That's the guy that gives us the proverbial best shot to win. So I don't know why it's not there now. Just looking at Matt Ryan out there, he's not physically capable of beating a team that is that much better than the Colts. It's just, I guess it worked out against the Chiefs. I understand that. And it worked out against the Las Vegas Raiders a few weeks ago in Jeff Saturday's first game. But you look at the throws, you look at the fact that he's not protecting himself well in the pocket. It's just, man, it's hard to watch. It's just hard to watch.
A couple of weeks before Frank Reich was fired, they benched Matt Ryan for the rest of the season. There was no equivocation. Frank Reich made it clear. Sam Ehlinger is a starter for the rest of the season.
Right.
And it was obvious that the owner's fingerprints were all over it. And it was a $17 million business decision because there is $17 million in guaranteed money that is guaranteed for injury until the beginning of the next league year in March, which is coming sooner than we realize. If Matt Ryan can't pass a physical, by the day that injury guarantee becomes a full guarantee, it becomes a full guarantee, period. So it's $17 million. And after Jeff Saturday was hired, and one of the various interviews Jim Irsay did, he kind of got a little huffy about there's no incentive in his contract. There's no well, there is. And he mentioned $17 million, so he knew. He knows. He understands. He may not be up on all the niceties, and there isn't a playtime incentive. The incentive is get him off the field, because if he gets seriously injured, you're going to owe him 17 to go on top of the 12 you already owe him for next year. My point is, I think we're at the juncture where it's time to take him back off the field for that $17 million. Why at this point when you're playing out the string? And I know from Jeff Saturday's standpoint, he's trying to do enough. He's trying to make just enough chicken salad to get the job beyond this year. So there's a little bit of a conflict here. And to the extent that Jim Irsay is rooting for Jeff Saturday to do enough so he can give him the job and not be publicly shamed for it even more than he was when he gave Saturday the job in the first place, maybe it's $17 million he's worth or he's willing to risk. That's the only reason to let Matt Ryan keep going. If Jeff Saturday believes Ryan gives him the best chance to win the job. And I know that's cynical, but so what? It's also true, I believe. Saturday isn't going to make it to the playoffs. His goal at this point is do enough so he's the guy next year. And if he thinks Matt Ryan is the guy that helps him get there, forget about the potential $17 million that's lost if one of those hits keeps Ryan from passing a physical next March. So who knows what they're going to do. But at some point, yeah, I think you have to at least consider that maybe Nick Foles can come in and give you a little bit of a spark and maybe win a game or two for you and be the difference between Jeff Saturday getting the job and not getting the job.
I guess, but Mike, I think whenever you see a quarter that ends up 33-0 and you end up losing a game 54-19, that's going to stick in the mind of an owner. You know, I mean, no matter how much Jim Irsay wants Jeff Saturday to be able to take that job, that quarter, I think, is going to be one of the lasting legacies of this Jeff Saturday interim head coach stint, especially if, you know, they don't win a game again or they don't do anything better than this. I mean, that's something that's going to be very hard for Jim Irsay to forget, I would imagine.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.